Let's go. He can't hear what his father's saying. He's making a tuna fish sandwich at the corner when a belt catches him in the back and his youth falls through the kitchen floor. Hey, it's the long hair. It's always the long hair. But this time, Hardy's cramming skivvies to a green army duffel. Feeling superior to this exploding failure, he leaves his mother balancing gin tonics on the LA Times crossword puzzle. Carefully, closing the rickety screen door in final submission to childhood conditioning. Oh yes, he sprints through her dead cactus garden and down the hill to Reseda High. 7 Barbie cheerleaders tumble and grin as he takes a memorial lap around the track, remembering the league cross-country finals. He won it as a sophomore with a monster sprint, but now looking for something wild to relieve nostalgia and buck his courage. Hardy vows never to talk to his father or sleep in his own bed again. He gets lucky at the Wasco on-ramp, an insurance guy driving a Chevy. Hey, I'm going all the way to Chowchilla. The midnight truck stop shimmers in blue, neon, solitude. As Hardy sees a brunette in the window, after 2 coffees and a question on a napkin, he's waiting coyote at the back door. When her shift ends at 3, ends at 3. Her shift ends at 3. After 2 paces, she has his sun sign. Says they'll meet a dragon tonight. Pouring supermarket Tom Collins. Meryl takes him to be her astrological disciple, passing on the same passion and scientific precision that ruin, yes, that ruin her life. She introduces him to 12 types of orgasm corresponding to the Sumerian zodiac. And of course, she asked him to repair the duct tape holding her Airstream trailer together. Oh yes, he's quickly addicted to her scent, sliding gratefully on Arcana sheets, carefully forgetting the details to protect a new sense of manly pride. And then there's nothing more to learn. So he leaves Merrill sleeping before dawn, running 3 miles of freeway with his duffel, feeling the sunrise out of his right ear. At a Texaco station, he catches a ride. With a what? With a confidence man talking to himself. Hey, Conrad, I've seen this face before. In the Times or Chess Life. Check it out, Conrad. We got a junior master in the back seat. So for a double cheeseburger, Hardy hips him to some Russian novelties in the Petrov defense. Moving the button magnets in the traveling set reminds him of her ephemeris and the dull rivets of her aluminum cocoon. Showing the salesman a tricky rook and pawn ending, Hardy switches to his new voice. I see you're Gemini with Scorpio rising. You think everything's a game, and people fearful, greedy pieces. Your simplicity is your profundity. But if you don't get into communications, your life will slowly dissolve into poverty. Poverty. His comments define the long drive as they silently watch dust devils hide power lines in California Valley heat. And when they hit San Jose, Conrad gives him $40 and an address in Oakland, where he can stay for a few days.
The Highgate Rumba. There's a party in Highgate tonight, says Tony, over at Edwin's, the Earl of Anglesey. You can come in jeans. He's hip to the left and strange, and loves to flatter his high society girls with articulate communists, mysterious spirits, and the cheek of dressing down. After a short walk through the leafy lanes, they show up around 10, unwrapped by help in livery, and escorted downstairs to the seance, whispering between black velvet curtains. "We welcome 2 new observers," announces Edwin. "We welcome Witness of the Beast." Tony shields himself with polite irony as Frank examines the writhing gray ectoplasm, forming tubes and pyramids above the table. Master Alistair, reveal your desire, intones Edwin, lifting his beefy arms to the smoke, as his guests concentrate on a central foaming crystal ball. Why do you insist on juvenile pranks? Retorts a sharp voice. Everybody expects the bald pate, the familiar sadistic glare, but floating above their heads is lamb, Crowley's Tibetan contact, seething gray skin, and wraparound alien eyes. Release me this instant! I have nothing to say to young fools. They instinctively blink, and Lamb disappears in a blue snap of electricity. Well, says Edwin, stroking his bushy sideburns, it must be time for drinks. Hey-ho! They return to the reception hall to mingle with newcomers, spooning rounds of Stilton cheese and spilling vintage champagne on their posh buckled shoes. Edwin circulates, introducing London's rich and clever heirs to the Reds and anarchists in the New World News. Their carefully coiffed and pressed personalities, brushing black motorcycle jackets and flowing Arab gowns. If you see anybody you're not supposed to know, it's because Guy Burgess made the invitations, jokes Edwin, mixing the unbelievably inane with the unconditioned insane over Dom Perignon. Tony disappears into a connecting closet with a brunette in lime pastels, and Frank allows a whiskey buzz to take him towards the arboretum, across an enormously immaculate lawn, and into a vertical grip. He's thinking trees are older. Trees are immeasurably older than society. Trees are hardwired in our brains, carried root, sap, and leaf in our deepest personal mythologies. When he happens upon two lovers, tastefully necking on a bench.
Frank, old boy, good to see you again.
Frank sees a look of welcome irritation wash the girl's face as the man gives him a big embrace. It's Illich, his Venezuelan friend from Moscow. Illich, with a jaunty new mustache, still chasing expensive skirts. This one curses softly and disappears. So they sit down on the bench in a leftover cloud of opium to catch up.
I went back to Caracas, but ended up working for the wrong fiction, and they threw me out. So we're both American exiles now, even if it took you a bit longer to find London. English women are the best in the world. Well, maybe not the best, but they love drugs and they hold their liquor. So what more do you want? Would you like Melinda's number?
Illich leans close.
You must tell me what happened. To the diggers. Was it Hoover? And the Weather Underground? Breaking Tim Leary out of jail was high art. Exceptional.
They're bluffing, Illich. They're idiots. They're just STS kids, falling for their own press releases. They're retarded roadies who blew up the band by accident.
So why are you here?
I resigned. I'm here with Tony.
Maybe so, Frank. But just the same, powerful numbers in certain covert operations. Think you're still operational?
I'm in flight. And I'm not fighting anymore. Not in America, and not in Europe. Let's just go back to the party.
I've got a better idea, Frank.
What's that?
Follow me.
Illich gives him a swig of warm Swedish vodka, and they wander through dewy fields behind luxurious villas to a small square cemetery shrouded in fog. Illich hops the wrought iron fence and waltzes smoothly to the spot. Frank lights their Cuban cigars. With the exuberance of student conspiracy, they drink and smoke fast. Two bulky profiles from North and South America, sitting below the big black marble head of Karl Marx. After 20 minutes, they're toasted, praising each other in Russian slang. A little improvised soft shoe on his ornate Victorian gravestone, singing The International and all the pub doggerel they can recall.
Death to capitalism!
Death to capitalism!
As they rumba, hand to hip, 7 times around the only philosopher who prized the world more than his own ideas. They finally get dizzy and fall to the wet grass laughing.
One last salute to health and freedom and fraternity.
Then a sodden, wobbling way back to Edwin's mansion. The butler gives them white terry bathrobes to replace their muddy jeans and jackets, and these prove to be of great interest to the bored birds lingering slim and witty for the first directions of another Highgate party. Two hours. Big black Mercedes 450 SEL stopped at a broken red light. 3 in the morning, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. He's lying in the grass drunk with a trim dancer from the Cavern Disco. The Rolling Stones, Sympathy for the Devil, played on a loop. 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, waiting for the world to change. the piano. At a small country inn, covered in ivy and ambivalence, Frank and Gertrude are dining on the patio, complimenting the soft, grassy air and the predilection of Swiss cheese to create continents in onion soup, when he spots a sharp blonde teenager peeking at them through her chatter. Later that night, as he shorthands Debussy on the piano, she steals up to him and asks in French,
"Are you an American gigolo?"
Jack Parsons.
Jack Parsons is my man. He knew magic. Made him a great rocket scientist. Jack Parsons is my man. He could play both sides of mind without bursting his brain. He knew the thing to steal from Crowley was the motto the beast stole from Rabelais. Do what you want is the whole of the law. The rest of Alistair's Victorian reversal. Sadomasochism, heroin, eating menses and shit. A moronic rebellion to society. I want a new man, springing from the clay of the nation state that castrates and enslaves him. So I create the terrorist, intimate and identical with world history, indistinguishable from the aristocrat. Jack Parsons is my man. I create the terrorism of high style. I am the new man. I change causes with my Italian silk shirts. My network is comprised of high society girls. In the commercial capitals of Europe, there are my safe houses and escape routes, my salons and theaters. I teach them Jack's sexual magic, and they become paragons of discretion. They become new women, intellectually alluring and politically astute. Gorgeous Athena's fighting the apparatus in my name. My greatest success is my London lover, my Elba, my mother. Jack Parsons is my man. He invented solid rocket fuels in the morning and interdimensional orgasms in the afternoon. Here was a Nietzschean. The Russians wanted me to keep the log of my lovers. They demanded receipts for my whiskey. So when I left, I took the new man with me. I created the cosmic file the KGB or Mossad could never find or fathom. I broke all their rules. I told my lovers the precise plan of attack. I gave them guns and fake passports. I gave them suitcases of cash, jewels. They took nothing. They said nothing. They reciprocated my trust with courage and keen anticipation. For the next set of instructions, my women are the erotic body of new consciousness. Jack Parson is my man. I transform terrorism into magic. My little black book is the best political manifesto the Palestinians will ever know. It's absurd. That's why it's great. Frank Glendover breaks through when he understands. History is not what he believes. History is what they believe. If they believe in good and evil, then we battle angels and demons with the old mannequin swords. We defer our inheritance of Earth until their apocalypse is consummated and the air is clean as water and the water clean as fire. Frank's my raging paradox, my elusive alter ego. I am all action, he is all ideas. I can't stop thinking and he can't stop running. He won't acknowledge the whispered cue. He can't write a line, not even a letter to his mother. Jack Parsons is my man. Here was a Nietzschean. He knew that to make things clear, you have to make things happen. Man is the bridge to the beyond. The beyond is the bridge to man. To the people, morality is terrorism. Terrorism is morality. Action is the refutation of ethics, the utilitarian theater of self-interest. That's why they love bad movies, bad CEOs, bad talking heads on the news of the world. That's why they love semi-conscious propaganda and its cynical pull on the nerves. When evil calls itself good, it confirms the people's deepest suspicions of themselves and the real conditions of success. Consider, I bombed the offices of L'Aurore, L'Arc Minuit, and Maison de l'Ariot. I warned them by phone that the devices were set to explode at 2 a.m, so there was major destruction, but no deaths. I sold the good terrorists to the papers and cashed the check by dropping the fragmentation bomb in the acclaimed Du Margot and the Café. Bourgeois conversations had body parts swimming in their cafe au lait. See Carlos switch polarity. See Carlos, the evil terrorist. See Furura, the Japanese Red Army, and force the French government to capitulate. The tragic nature of my being required me to always to be beyond good and evil. Always open to comedy, with Rainier at the Orly airport. It was the Keystone Cops. He misfired his bazooka twice, missing the El Al plane and demolishing a hangar. The Japanese agents were gunned down, but my escape in the ambulance was pure science fiction. I'm a better escape artist than Houdini. I'm great because I create history. As you know, it's a rare and precious talent. Jack Parson is my man. My drama for an audience of 3. Wadi Hadid in Yemen, Omar Gaddafi in Libya, and Frank Glendover stumbling somewhere in Asia. My favorite role is the playboy, with a weakness for small automatic weapons. When I was betrayed by Mukabal at 9 Rue Tullier, I came out of Pollard's bathroom and shot the bastard in the neck. See Detective Harris reaching. See his 2 policemen falling. See 4 bullets. 4 necks. In less than 7 seconds, could Che Guevara shoot like this? Could Che Guevara escape like this? Could he run the rooftops, following the phosphorescent arrows painted by his silk and lace? Jack Parson is my man. I am magic. I can play both sides of everything. I can reverse the fall of the world with small automatic fire. Later that night I stayed with Alanis, the young wife of the Paris police commissioner. We invoked the errors of John Dee. We smoked Afghani hash and signed Jack's favorite sigil with my pearly jism and her steaming secretions.
The way she laughs in the bath. The way she combs her long auburn hair. It doesn't matter if she misunderstands the momentousness of it, or inflates its scent until they can't breathe without making love. It doesn't matter what's going on out there. It's his duty and clear desire to serve and protect her invading beauty. A poem for breakfast with the toast. One slipped under a saddle in Petaluma. A soft kiss on the back of her neck. Watching Peter Coyote do Hamlet in Bolinas. Short, simple things burst and brought quickly to light, then quietly lost in the complexities of the day.
The Thief. Frank investigates the night market, haphazard stalls of junk, lit with upstrung naked bulbs, absolutely nothing of interest, until he spots a young man in pajamas, sitting beside a wooden crate, cleaning a small vase with a toothbrush. Frank slides into conversation on the geometries of Qing porcelain and the 5 shades of Turkish blue. He buys the piece for $18, impressed with the man's knowledge of kilns, and is about to move on when the thief says, "Come back tomorrow night at the same time. I'll have something better." He does. And now, as 11 approaches, Frank thrills to the prospect of treasure, but troubled because he knows it comes from graves of rich overseas Chinese. He can smell the lime. He can hear the bells of expensive Taoist spells. He wants to quit, but it's private access to a major museum right here on this wooden crate. He can hold classical Chinese art buried for hundreds of years. He's bought 20 pieces. He's blown over $1,000 when the thief says, "Tomorrow night, I'll have a Ming. It's stupendous. A large demon dog vase, dragon design, very imperial." As Frank hands over $800 in 50s, the thief's placid face wilts. He sweats. He ages in slow ceremony. He turns the crate over and says, "Now I'm the enemy of my memory. Now I'm the enemy of my history." He wraps his eyes with a red bandana and stumbles slow away. Only when Frank's back in his room, admiring the porcelain on the bed, does it finally compute. He's a fool. He's busted. In the city-state where a parking ticket or a loud car stereo gets you caned and 3 years in jail, what happens to an American exile with a room full of forbidden graveyard goods who can't pay his hotel bill? Ulrika. In exile, Every new city, or any old city within range, is another chance at romance and reset, a chessboard wiped clean of the deciding blunder, a fresh-smelling harbor after emotional shipwreck. Frank doesn't want to meet his replacement by accident or design, so he takes the overnight to Cologne and applauds the German system when his train arrives perfect at 9. Toby's renting a room from a classical homeopath specializing in Bach flower remedies. He's teaching English at Ford Europe. He's in charge of the TOEFL tests at America House. He's happy as a clam. They're playing cribbage at the zoo cafeteria, watching tugboats drag the Rhine. Steffi went back to her husband. Gertrude lost her fortune in the Deutsche Bank crash. They torched Rosenwald in White Plains. Good to have you back, Frank. It's probably all for the best. There's a party tonight at Jürgen's. They stroll downtown with their instruments, play a few tunes on the Schildergasse. Toby banging his old Martin guitar, Frank playing everything in C on his Hohner blues harp. They pick up 100 marks and give them to the gypsies, huddled baby blankets on the stoops. It's German hip, pretzels and dip, refrigerator full of Kolsch, schnapps, people winding up the ornate stairs, drifting through the tidy rooms. Ulrika's there with Hans, a German radical living in Belfast, telling convoluted stories of the IRA. She works at Deutsche Welle. She knows the U.S. Information Agency. She's a mole for the Baader-Meinhof gang. Her apartment overlooks a train switching yard. Her vagina smells of freshly mown grass, sometimes vanilla, sometimes a hint of apricot. Frank's helping with the tests, lecturing on Jimmy Carter and the American Dream at German academic high schools. They lunch with the America House staff, mining information on the soft spies at the Voice of America. They cruise Cologne, taking pictures of old gumball machines, bolted to forgotten alley walls, a few from the Weimar Republic, 20 Nazis from the 30s. Ulrika works overtime at the radio station to polish her chromium cover. Frank picks up private English lessons from politicians and business executives in Bonn. He's teaching the president of the German Industrial Union how to tell American jokes for an international symposium in Chicago. He's advising exchange students on American universities. He's got his Ford executives hooked on a soccer pool. The week's winner has to find a prodigious bottle of unblended Scotch or Kentucky bourbon to share with the next English class. Frank's in a groove. It's hot and easy with Ulrika, coming in a wonderland of sense. She's got a raven Parisian bob. She's a long-distance runner. She digs Bob Marley. And best of all, she brings him luck. He feels taller, faster, stronger. He wins a contest in Stern for a Seiko wristwatch and 20 minutes of tennis with Bjorn Borg in Dusseldorf. When Carnival takes Cologne and lipstick Huns flood the streets, Frank goes happily to ground, securing a short case of Rheinhessen wine, a stick of Afghani hash, and enough canvas and oils to paint 16 versions of Ulrika undressing in the dark.
This story was written by Calvino.
Says Illich, smiling sideways at Frank as they cruise the Autostrada del Sol.
We're driving to the top with the top down and get stuck in a traffic jam. There's an assassin following us in a silver Porsche 911. No matter how many lanes we change, no matter how fast or slow we go, the assassin stays perfectly on our tail. And then things grind to a halt. I kill him before he kills us.
That's not how it goes. He's not who we think he is.
It doesn't matter. We're also fictions. Everything's eternal recurrence. We repeat every event indefinitely. But each time it's different. We're different. Identity is the difference between our perceptions and our recall.
I see brake lights ahead.
It's not a job. It's necessity. In the shattering second, I must act, or I'll never be able to act again.
The traffic slowing.
Can you see the Porsche?
Frank checks the side mirror and turns.
Maybe.
The assassin takes many forms. Moro was murdered by CIA agents. Shape-shifting as supermodels. Or on Kissinger's arm. The Porsche is and is not a Porsche. Right lane, 20 cars back.
Yes.
Frank spots it. They're decelerating, stopping. A Fellini wave invades the scene. Teenagers with painted faces wipe the windshield. Crones with canes sell blood oranges. Frank looks closer at Illich. No mustache, no beret, shaved head, deep tan, aviator sunglasses. The dichotomies and ideologies of communist, capitalist, Russian-American, Muslim Jew resolved by the mad sting of memory. He's become what he is, an entrepreneur from Damascus, selling his black political solutions to the highest bidder.
Give me the gun!
What?
Your gun!
Frank reaches into his kit and hands it over.
I do this for us. I do this for the world. I repeat this to transcend repetition compulsion.
Illich swings out of the driver's seat, crouches at the fender well, and stalks Bronze back to his prey. In the rearview mirror, Frank sees Desi sitting with Tony in a blue BMW sedan, left lane, 14 cars back. She's speaking into her lapel pin. Now the Porsche instantly switches lanes, 5 cars back. An old man with thin white hair fiddles with something in his lap. Illich looms and shoots him in the neck. The horn sticks. 100 horns stick. It's Italy. The traffic's starting to move. The BMW disappears.
It's done.
Says Illich, handing back the gun.
Again, it's done. Now we're brothers. Now everything's a possibility. He was loading destroyer bullets. It only takes a scratch. This is the place where 3 stories meet. Your exile is over, Frank. You can return to the States.
Who was he?
Asks Frank, touching his fingertips.
Jose Altagracia Ramirez Navas, my father. My dreams should be better now, and so should yours. Necessity makes the unconscious conscious. We take an accident from Sophocles and make it ours. Consciousness pathicides our first freedom, the common ground of revolution, the pure choice for the apparatus, running on the blood of infanticide. What I've done here today restores the world. Again, what I've done here today recovers the myth of self. Again, we're on the way to the Spezia. We enter the traffic jam. We remember a Calvino story. The rest is magic. I always thought my father would bring me to God. As Cocteau said in Orpheus, art must astound the artist. The sophistication of its vengeance transforms the emptiness and soothes the absurdity of a creation self-consciousness. We're all beguiled believers. Before we find our will, my father cannot be the assassin. Yet he is. He was loading a gun with destroyers identical to yours. It only takes a scratch. My father cannot be God. Yet he is. It was him or us. You look back, and your cosmic wife was lost. You look back and found the three wills, the nightmare ends. Again, my dreams should be better now, and so should yours. Seen from this height, every authentic act is patricide. Every life preparation for a noble death. Jose Altagracia Sanchez Navas was God. His immortality is guaranteed. As long as actors read and readers act, I killed God because he was blocking my way. I killed God because God is dead.
Looking for the perfect rock. Owsley's purple dome rushes hot, somewhere chill near Bonnie Doon, where the magnetic hum of Darby's Ridge brings the vortex history of Earth streaming to a tripper's eyes, and the search for the perfect rock starts with the one in your hand. Sammy examines by lemon morning light, drawn to the clear profiles of horned Alexander and laughing Einstein in the lichen. They carry the deeper memory of heavy metal birth in a star's demise, and the betrayal of time by sweet running distance. He sees volcanoes spew uncertainty, and continents lose their roots. But right where it starts to make sense, with the flash of human will, a legion of purple paisley acid worms invades the frame of reference, exploding into Archrom's Amazons, all monster thighs, butts, hairy legs, and stormtrooper boots. So with a thick question mark hanging in a bubble of panic, Sammy finds himself running the trail, looking for new stories. He's taking a breather under black oak. When the notion arrives, spread them out, just spread them out. Give them some air. Let's take a look. 10, 15, 18 faces, arranged in alluring horseshoe like the girls at Mustang Ranch. Surely the perfect rock is here. The world is poised to reveal itself today. A blue jay swoops down, 100, 1,000 blue jays, connecting each tree to a lucky synapse. High in the billowing clouds, he sees the smoky trains of consciousness, slow and stop in a silent whistle of attention. Every motion frozen by the intuition that says being can't really move at all. But now he feels the intense desire of each rock to go home. So shouting out constellations like train stations, he starts throwing his collection up through the Douglas firs, across the accumulator banks of dark matter, and back to the hydrogen dance of first becoming. He's saying his long goodbye to the Goethe granite when the first lava shudder shakes his spine. Looking closer, it's late afternoon. It's time to find the Ford van. Time to crank the starter, finger his black mustache, then ease downhill to the full rack saloon and his usual double shot of wild turkey. It signals the end of the trip. He's coaxing the heater, cajoling bald tires, thinking Billy turns cartoons into poems, like Warhol paints Marylands and acid makes music of a mountain road. Time to hit the gravel parking lot, stumble into the full rack, and introduce his come down to the crowd. At the mahogany bar, he's pulling out a Jackson, when the sound of one rock hitting the floor stops the roaring biker buzz. Every eye is upon him as he picks it up and drops it into his glass. He's thirsty, Sammy explains, as the chunk of quartz rattles and drains the bourbon. Spent the day up on Darby's Ridge, looking for a perfect mind. But now nobody cares. So he orders another drink and warms to the idea that when you really find something, it always finds you first. And then I found Desi's letter to Miami. First tell Mom I'm safe, I'm fine. I go to target practice daily. My story is well received, and now my mission is almost done. You've probably seen me on TV, calling the kids of America to run away. Run away and come to the hate for the summer of love. I don't think any agent has been so far undercover so long. I know you'll be proud of me. I've willed the way to success, and I've willed myself back to you. You taught me to love America. You taught me to watch for Satanists. You taught me to watch for communists. And hate enabled me to find them. The FBI trafficking manual was useless, and Haight-Ashbury was a labyrinth. I knew LSD was the drug of choice, but the purest stuff was sold on the street for no more than $2 or $3 a hit, and usually the diggers gave it away free. I knew the Sandoz link from Switzerland was under close surveillance. So checking our local sources, I discovered that Owsley was bankrolling everything through sales of LSD in his Mountain Labs, Grateful Dead, everybody. And then everything made sense. The hate is hell. Behind the facade of flowers and love, the Grateful Dead are Satan's band. The merry pranksters are his fools. The Hell's Angels are his demons. And the diggers? The diggers are his grave diggers, making space in the ancient black loam for young hippies in love with pleasure, who trade their immortal souls for passing delusions. So with logistical support from the CIA and COINTELPRO backing from Hoover, I've rekindled the fiery pit, created a new Tophet in Gehenna, a new child sacrifice to God. During a final Digger event for TV, the Diggers will hand out free LSD, calling it Owsley's masterpiece, when it's actually bad acid from our army labs, heavily cut with strychnine and speed. Yes, hundreds of hippies will die. Some will jump from burning windowsills. Some will drown in their burning vomit. Of course, the media will be tipped in and tuned in to broadcast my victory on the evening news. I am Desi. I am good. I am the chosen one, chosen by you and my greater Father to bring peace to the world. From the hate of Haight-Ashbury comes the love of new America. From the chaotic revolution comes the new world order. Those who understand will give up their rights, their children, their conscience to survive. Those that resist will learn our efficiency. Yesterday, I burned their precious feather, and now the diggers have no center. They fling themselves outward like mad comets and inward like golden idols. The day the poison hits the street, Owsley's reign of lies will end, and America will be purified by God's fiery breath. I've tried so hard to regain your love, Dad. What do you think of me now? Am I a good cop? Am I a good American? Am I still our Cardoza? Can I be your daughter again? Can I come home? Can I come home soon? He's the son of Owen Glendover, and his Welsh blood gives him the right to ride over dreams as if they were distinctions of will. He refuses to prefer the continuity of waking life to what occurs to his mind while he sleeps. Even when his Celtic pride strikes genius and gives the glint of autonomy to his actions, experience remains more a matter of taste than memory. Was he recruited as an AFS student in Leningrad? Trained in the intricate loyalties of the Soviet man? And given mystic vision into the true nature of material? Or was this a personal fantasy running deep in the blood? Or maybe a collective spirit ruling his decisions from the blue? Everything he does is jacketed by intellect and contradiction. Until he misses a haircut at the Mission Inn. And the Cold War stops. As red curls cover the tips of his ears, he asks himself one last question and then lets it all go. His handlers in Moscow curse, send the local guerrillas to reel him in. But they don't have a chance, because now he feels his sensual destiny. SDS and the other leftist groups are jokes. Nobody can be a hippie like me. I am Shakespeare's every character. I am Emerson's every personality. I will inherit the earth. I am the material agent. I will eliminate the metaphysical, starting with the strongest Eastern masters. So he picks up a passport from a safe house in Fremont. Next morning he's on a flight to Hong Kong, feeling flipped like Mercurio, poxing both their houses. I'm going to take out a few gurus, he comments to the hostess as she pours his Canada Dry ginger ale. Man must be overcome. Man must be overcome. After 2 weeks resting in the YMCA, he's huddled in a sandblasted delivery van with a rubber mask and cheap plastic shoes, working out his opening moves against the Chan Buddhist master. The master who named the winds of consciousness. In this film, he's accepted at the back door of the Ma Shan Monastery, asked to clean the chicken coops and crease the 6,000 handkerchiefs that lie on every wooden surface. He's a background fixture at the morning lectures on the Prajna Paramita Sutra, until one Saturday over gruel, he fires from the hip. Not only is there no dust on the mirror, not only is there no one to know it, not only is there no enlightenment, but no one has ever been conscious. Red flames leap from Master Yen's eyes as Frank escapes laughing and works his way to Tibet. He decides to modify the idea at the Portola Palace in the heartbeat of the 500-year-old man. Giant conches salute another clear wind. So he carries on to India, exposing the magic tricks of Sai Baba, where mysterious white ash and petals in the palm gets the guru a Patek Philippe or Vacheron. The son of Owen Glendover finds he can best champion material life by defeating the masters of metaphysical deception. Yet the more he stays in the East, where individuation has always been suspect, the more he understands Canterbury and Rome, and his hatred for Christian faith grows. Even if he could return to the mountains with Zarathustra and erase the fictions of good and evil, the moralisms of church and state would still inform the systematic savagery of will to power and the lust for personal immortality. Chasing white pigs on a Goan black sand beach, he sees the Indian Ocean fill his footprints. And he knows it's time to come in from the cold. A haircut at the New Delhi Intercontinental. Debriefed in Tony's heavily accented Russian. The Vietnam War's entering a crucial new phase. Your new assignment is Berkeley, organizing the student anti-war movement and coordinating new left coalitions. Your ticket for San Francisco is under the towel. Touching down at LAX, Frank tells the cabbie, Gardena, the Monterey Club. And 30 minutes later, he's riding the steep face of a rush at 10:20 draw poker. Back on the brushed green felt of the Wild West.
Vallejo, writing about loneliness while starving to death. Van Gogh's ear, rejected by a whore. Rimbaud running off to Africa to look for gold and finding an incurable case of syphilis. Beethoven gone deaf. Pound dragged through the streets in a cage. Shattered and taken rat poison. Hemingway's brains dropping into the orange juice. Pascal cutting his wrists in the bathtub. Todd locked up with the mad. Dostoevsky stood up against the wall. Crane jumping into a boat propeller. Lorca shot in the road by Spanish troops. Ferryman jumping off a bridge. Burroughs shooting his wife, Mailer knifing his. That's what they want. 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 A goddamn show. A lit billboard in the middle of hell. That's what they want. That bunch of dull, inarticulate,